Well, it's noon here in Lagos, Nigeria. Hello and welcome to Lunchtime Politics. I'm Kayode Kikilu, and here are the big political stories we're tracking for you at the moment. The Lagos State government clarifies statement made by Governor Sanwo-Olu on salaries and wages paid to workers. But the Commissioner of Information says the governor did not mean that the minimum wage had been increased to 70,000 naira. And it's a battle of two former deputy governors in Ondo State as PDP elects Mr. Agboola as its flag bearer to square up against current governor, who himself was a deputy at some point, Governor Lucky Aiyedatiwa. We'll take a look at the PDP's game plan on the show. And the federal government reveals plans to create 2.5 million jobs through the Ministry of Labor and Employment. This is coming amidst tough operating business environment for industries and businesses at large. And we begin with the Lagos State government's clarification on a viral video in which the state governor, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, spoke on increasing the monies paid to civil servants in the state to over 70,000 naira, a situation which he said had been in play since January. But then, the State Commissioner for Information and Strategy, Mr. Gbenga Omotosho, has been speaking with Channels Television, and he says the governor was not speaking about increment of minimum wage. Rather, he said the federal government approved 35,000 naira incentives for civil servants, and that the state government has adopted that incentive in addition to the current 30,000 naira minimum wage.
It is not true that the government of Lagos State has increased minimum wage from 35,000 naira to 70,000 naira. People have been quoting Mr. Governor, Mr. Babajide Olushola Sanwo-Olu, as saying so. He never said so. It is wrong for anybody to report him as saying so. But I feel that the reports that we have seen, especially on the social media, emanated from the event of yesterday, Ekokias, when Mr. Sanwo-Olu was unveiling Ekokias, the umbrella under which the Lagos State government has made so many interventions and will make some more interventions to lessen the burden of the present economic hardship on Lagosians. What he did say on that occasion was that from January, that workers, following a directive from the federal government, have been enjoying 35,000 naira wage award, and that people who are earning 35,000 naira now have had 35,000 naira more added to their salary, courtesy of the wage award directed by the federal government. And that if you add 35,000 to 35,000 is 70%. And that very, very soon, by the grace of God, I'm now quoting him, there will be a new minimum wage as promised by the federal government. So it is erroneous for anybody to say that Mr. Sanwo-Olu announced a new minimum wage of 70,000. All of us desire that we should earn more, but it has to be at the right time. It has to be reported accurately. So it is wrong for people to report Mr. Sanwo-Olu as saying that workers have had 35%, 35,000 naira more added to the minimum wage. It is not true.
There you see the Lagos Commissioner for Information, Gbenga Omotosho, clarifying the statement on the minimum wage. But let's talk about the politics around the aviation sector, particularly on the policies. The safety of passengers on flight on Nigerian airspace is said to be of utmost priority to the Nigerian government, and the Minister of Aviation, Mr. Festus Keyamo, says that every measure will be put in place to keep the airline operators on their toes regarding the maintenance of infrastructure. The senior advocate of Nigeria explains that the sector is woven into a garment of corruption, and the present administration is ready to fight it head-on. He was speaking on our political program, Politics Today.
There is deep complicity within the system, and the cleansing process will start and continue till I get to where I'm going. It is a system of corruption that we are fighting. And we're going to bring down that system of corruption within the sector that I find myself. This sector is one of the most corrupt that I have seen, because people bypass regulations. And you know, the point with sector is that you don't have a second chance. It's not like a car you are driving and say there's a problem, let me park and check. There's no park and check. Once there's a problem on air, the next thing is that everybody's gone. So there's no room for error. I'm setting up a ministerial committee very soon, in a matter of days.
What would that be doing?
Bringing in experts, in the industry, very experienced people in the industry on some of these issues. I'll be part of that cartel. Complete, with this complicity and all that. Would Nigerians have preferred I keep quiet and be part of the cartel? Would they prefer? In the name of, and I now hide under the fact that I am not supposed to interfere. What am I doing as minister?
Let's talk about jobs now. 2.5 million jobs, and that's the federal government's annual target as part of its strategy to tackle the escalating unemployment rate. And this initiative was made known by the Minister of State for Labor and Employment, Mrs. Nkiruka Onyejecha, during the launch of the Labor Employment Enhancement Program, LEAP. That's what the acronym is, in Abuja. And she explained that the program aims to equip individuals with relevant skills for self-employment and entrepreneurship.
The unveiling of labor, employment, and empowerment program is a platform that is bringing out strategies to make sure that the mandate of the ministry is met. What's the mandate of labor ministry? Number one is to make sure that poverty is reduced, if not completely eradicated. I dream that under our watch, with your support, that it's possible to eradicate poverty. Then also to create employment. Job creation is very key, because if we create enough jobs, decent jobs, I'm sure it's going to reduce a lot of problems we have today, including insecurity. And I know that labor ministry is not just about conciliation. It's about making sure that there's food in every family. It's making sure that people who have retired are taken care of. That's why.
Now let's talk about politics in Ondo State, southwest Nigeria. It's a battle, really, between former deputy governors in that state of Ondo, following the emergence of former Ondo State Deputy Governor, Mr. Agboola Ajayi, as a candidate of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, for the forthcoming state governorship election. A 57-year-old former Deputy Governor, Agboola Ajayi, was announced winner of the primary election after polling 264 votes to beat 6 other contenders for the ticket. While the chairman of the primary election committee and Deputy Governor of Bayelsa State, Lawrence Erojapo, announced the result of the election after counting and collation of the total votes cast by the delegates. So it looks like, well, the two former deputy governors, one of them, incumbent governor, will be squaring it up in the coming months, come November, that is. But let's get to understand what the PDP's game plan is here. And we're joined on the program by the spokesperson of the party in Ondo State, Mr. Kennedy Berite. He joins us virtually on the program. Welcome to Lunchtime Politics, Mr. Berite. Well, I do hope that the connection can hold up. It looks like you're still on the field there in the aftermath of the primaries. But help us to understand what the game plan of your party is. Electing former deputy governor, Mr. Agboola Ajayi, understanding the backstory that, of course, characterized his time in government and how it ended. What is your party's game plan?
Well, there is no game plan, so to speak. The first thing is that he has been elected by the Electoral College, that is through the indirect primaries. He marched yesterday evening, and we are confident that he has sufficient experience. He has what it takes to carry those state on his shoulders. He's a man with a lot of, experience again in terms of governance and politics. So we believe that it's our best foot that we have put forward in this election.
So here's by the backstory, because we know the former deputy governor resigned from the APC and eventually could not continue as deputy governor. He was replaced by current governor, Mr. Lucky Ayedatiwa.
No, he completed the tenure.
Yes, but he wasn't
Even
able to
after
continue because he resigned from the APC, and naturally he wasn't the running mate to the former governor, now late. So he's absent. But the point I'm trying to make is that his absence did not stop the people from voting for APC then. That's, former governor. It didn't really reduce the chances of the APC then. So the question is, who will vote for him now?
Well, you must understand that every elections year, has its own peculiarity. And what was in 2020 is not what is now in 2024. So between 2020 and now, a lot of water has gone under the bridge. People initially say, "Oh, let's give them a chance. They are just 4 years in the saddle. They needed some more time to do one of two things." But now it has become clear and apparent to everybody in those states that APC government has very little to offer. It has not been able to impact on the lives of the people, and people are yearning for better days like they used to have under the PDP. And you must also understand that Agbola Ajayi himself has a PDP background. He was the chairman under the PDP government. He was elected to the House of Reps as a member from the PDP. So he was on sabbatical in APC and he has come back home to where he rightly belongs. And we believe that Ondo State people will be able to differentiate from what the PDP used to offer them and what the APC is offering them right now.
Well, it's quite interesting when you speak about his time in the APC, describing it as a sabbatical. But we know how it works with politicians. One day you are with this party, the next you're with the other party, as though nothing has really changed. But when you say that there will be better life for the people of Ondo State, what does the better life that he's promising, what does it look like?
No, this is what I mean, and this is what it looks like in actual fact. Before the APC government came on board in 2017, we have a state where there were free shuttle buses for children who have to go to school, to and fro. We also had what we call the Mother and Child Hospital, where children and women that are pregnant can go and get treatment free, even if there needs to be a cesarean section to be done free.
Well, it looks like we lost connection momentarily with Mr. Perite, the spokesperson of the People's Democratic Party in Ondo State. The party, which is opposition, well, had said that they were going to show a marked difference with the conduct of their own primaries, different from what we saw with the ruling APC. But what the people will also want to know is the plans that the party has for the people after throwing up former Deputy Governor, Mr. Agbola Ajayi, as its candidate now in that election. Mr. Perite, I see you're back now. Please go ahead with your thoughts.
Now, what I'm saying is that the PDP under leadership of Agbola Ajayi as governor will be able to reenact those programs and activities that the PDP has always been known for in the area of education, in the area of infrastructure, in the area of healthcare delivery, and so many other things, that was easy. There's some kind of welfareism that was the trademark of the PDP government. So this is what we intend to reenact with an Agbola Ajayi governorship in Ondo State.
What is quite interesting is the fact that a lot of times, as you said, politics are different. Elections are different, rather. So we're in a situation now where at the center, federal government is the APC party and is also someone from the Southwest. And you know how sentiments work sometimes. The thinking or the narrative will be, we need to align with the center. So, or what value will it be to the people of Ondo State to not, in quote, align with the center and vote for the PDP instead?
Well, if you are talking about alignment, you must also look at how it affects the lives of the people. How does an alignment with the federal government, how does it impact directly on the lives of the people on the streets of Akure? How does it impact on the economy of the state? How does it translate to food on the table of the people that are living here? So these are the issues. So it will not be a matter of, oh, there is a Yoruba man in Abuja, and so we must try and align. It will be, what has its impact been on their lives? I'm sure you remember that in 2023, the general mantra was that, oh, it's our turn. Now our turn has turned out to be, this our turn has not paid us as a people. So it will be funny for anybody to say that we want to continue in penury, we want to continue in poverty, because that is what the APC kind of translates to for us in Ondo State. So if we had experienced some other government before under a PDP and it was better for the people, the people now are looking up to a PDP government with some kind of nostalgia that we know how it used to be, we know how it is now. We prefer that it was how it was before. So these are the dynamics of it.
But again, that's something that the APC will definitely be campaigning with. And again, as I said, the sentiments will be quite strong with that one. So speak to us about the antecedents of Mr. Agbolajai, because that will come into play. This is what I have done in the past. This is what I was able to do, either in government, in my private life, in politics, or what have you. So what are those antecedents, his pedigree, so that at least the people of Ondo State can weigh them against each other?
Of course. Now, if you are looking at Agbolajai as an individual, he had occupied positions in this state, and his credentials or his testimonials are there. For example, as chairman of Estero local government, incidentally, I'm from that same place. Now, we knew how he was able to build schools, primary schools especially, health centers, civic centers, across the length and breadth of the local government. And when he was in the House of Representatives, luckily he was the chairman of the NDDC committee, House committee, chairman of House committee on NDDC. And through his influence, a lot of jetties, concrete jetties were influenced to the federal constituency, that is the largest federal constituency. He did a lot of things that we knew that his influence were very clear on all this that came to the federal constituency. So even as deputy governor, we know how many of our children in the state that got employed in the judiciary, either as judges or as civil servants, and so on. So he's a man that is tested and can be trusted. So we know, as a matter of fact, that if he comes, of course, on board as the governor of Ondo State, definitely he will be able to do more, because some of these positions he occupied are maybe tangential, peripheral. You can imagine the power of a governor compared to that of a member of the House of Representatives, which is just going there to legislate and begin to speak grammar on the floor of Parliament. But now he has the executive power to approve projects. He has the executive power to direct. He can send bills to the House of Assembly that will impact directly on the lives of the people. So talking about him as an individual, he has done very well for himself and for the people of Ondo State. So giving another chance as governor would not be bad at all.
Well, quite a lot of work really in the hands of politicians, particularly in this time, campaigning across board. And, the people will want to have a feel of the person who wants to lead them. What is his campaign plan? Is he doing anything different from what we've seen? Maybe the usual, go into those areas, do some dancing, do some music, share some, I don't know what to call it now, will I call it palliatives or inducement? Is there anything different from what we've seen in the past that we can look forward to?
Well, surely yes, because experience, they say, is the best teacher. Now, in the last 7 years, we have seen the UNIMED, for example, that is the University of Medical Sciences in Ondo, where they have to use torchlights for surgery in the operation theaters and so on and so forth. So I know now a lot of things will be done to ensure that Ondo State becomes medical tourism center again, like it used to be different from what it is now. Then there are some roads that have been under construction for nearly 7 years since the Akiti government came on course. And you also know that the Ayedatiwa government, as it came in December 27, has been busy with legitimacy and the campaign for to pick up tickets. As I yesterday was in Abuja, trying to sort out matters arising from the primary. So there's been a lot of distraction for Ayedatiwa and members of his party and his government. So we are not coming to government with any baggage. We are coming to government with, our pedigree of what we have done before, and with promise to improve on what we did before.
On a final note, the support which he will get from his fellow contestants, aspirants, former aspirants now, will be quite vital. So can you tell us if indeed the likes of Mr. Bamidele Akinboye, Adelo Akiwumi, Shola Ebisheni, John Mafo, Kolade Akinjo, and Bosma Rebuwa, are they all in support of him now?
Oh, yes.
All
yesterday at the venue, you see the camaraderie between all the aspirants. It could have been anybody's chance of picking up the ticket.
Yeah.
And especially against the background that the processes leading to the primary were fair, credible, and known to everybody. If it was the other time the APC had the primary, before the end of the day, there were a lot of petitions. The social media was awash with complaints. But this is almost 24 hours since the primary, and everywhere is calm. And I am very sure that as soon as possible, the party will still set up committees to go around to ensure that if there are still some rough edges or some areas that are not too clear about whatever it is that may be an apprehension, will be laid to rest. Campaigns. So there are no issues arising from this primary at all.
Well, the coming days will definitely tell. And as I said earlier on, quite a lot of work to be done, convincing the people and ensure that things are done differently this time around, because governance is real business. But we'd like to thank you so much, Mr. Kennedy Verite, spokesperson of the PDP in Ondo State. Thank you so much for your time on Lunchtime Politics. Well, at least 5 political parties have now thrown up their candidates for that election, so we'll continue to follow to see the candidates that continue to come out and, of course, interrogate their policies and campaign manifesto. Well, let's talk about the national level now. President Bola Tinubu, who is away on a foreign trip at this moment, has been speaking particularly about bilateral partnerships, which he says they must be mutually beneficial, transformative, and translate into real gains for ordinary citizens. He was speaking at the Nigeria-Netherlands Business and Investment Forum in The Hague, where he emphasized the pivotal role of stronger ties between Nigeria and the Netherlands, saying that both countries must explore more creative channels of collaboration, whether it is through partnerships, joint ventures, or strategic alliances.
One of the 2 things that we've identified in our earlier meetings this morning is actually partnership around talent, right, where the Netherlands has a program that is focused on providing scholarship opportunities for young people in specific sectors, especially in the technological space. So we're looking to work together in that space. As you also are probably aware, Nigeria is prioritizing artificial intelligence, and Netherlands has significant interest in ethics when it comes to AI. As we go on the drive to use artificial intelligence to drive productivity in our country, we have to ensure that we're doing it with the right consideration for governance and ethics. We've identified our area as another area for partnership within the technology space as well.
We in Nigeria will have the available land, but our most problem is that the land is shrinking because we have a huge bulging population. There's habitation encroaching on farmlands. So what we need is increasing yield per space. So increasing yield, and that's technology. Good seeds, good fertilization, good cultivation, and good harvest. And that is, I think, where we can now derive the knowledge and transfer of knowledge from Netherlands to the Nigerian space.
Well, back home now, the Federal High Court sitting in Abuja has ordered the arrest of former Director General of the National Institute for Legislative and Democratic Studies, Professor Ladi Aisha Hamalai, for failure to appear in the corruption case preferred against her by the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission, that's the ICPC. Our trial judge, Justice Christopher Alba, issued a bench warrant on Monday, April the 22nd, following her repeated failure to show up in court. The ICPC counsel, Mr. Michael Adeshola, had informed the courts that this is the fourth consecutive time that the former DG of NILS failed to honor the invitation of the commission to appear in the case, having been properly served. In the suit, the ICPC is accusing Professor Amalai of using her office to confer corrupt advantage upon herself by making a request for the sum of 12 million naira to rent a guest house for her office, but used the amount to purchase a property for herself at the Gwarinpa area of Abuja. The commission, in a 4-count charge, also accused the former DG of requesting for another 29 million naira for the furnishing of the building as a government guest house. And that's the program for this afternoon. Thank you for watching. I'm Kayode Okikulu. So have a wonderful weekend.